Welcome to part 3 of Chris the T-Rex tutorial. We're going to start off by making a magic ring, so grab your green yarn and wrap it around your top 3 fingers like this. Want to create an X on one side and 2 parallel lines on the other side. Now grab your hook, go under the first loop and over top the second loop, bringing the second loop under the first loop. Twist your hook and grab the yarn and pull it through. If you didn't quite catch that, don't worry, I'll show you again in slow motion. Alright, now that your magic ring is all done, to crochet into the magic ring, just make sure you're crocheting over top both the tail piece and the circle here, like so. And then just single crochet 5 times in that ring. Single crocheting like normal here. This is 3, 4, and 5. And then you're going to pull the ring shut. Just make sure that you kind of clamp down on the stitch there so that it doesn't ravel in on itself when you're pulling it. And then reinsert your hook, and we are going to single crochet in the first available stitch. It can be a little tricky if you crochet tightly here, so just be careful. There we go, single crochet in that first stitch, and then mark this stitch. These are the arms, so this next round is the last round, and it is just simply a single crochet in each stitch around. So just work your way around for 5 single crochets. Okay, and now we can pull that center really tight. Don't forget to weave in that end and remove your stitch marker. Then we're going to finish off just by making a slip stitch so it's nice and neat. So to do that, insert your hook in the next available stitch, yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook just like so. That's just a pretty little way of fastening off. And then trim your yarn, leave about 20 inches or so for sewing, pull it through, and then don't forget to weave in that end, and you're gonna make 2 arms. Next up, we're gonna do the tail. So we're gonna start off by making another magic ring. So over your top 3 fingers like so, an X on one side, 2 lines on the other. Then grab your hook, go under the first loop over the second, cross over and pull it through. If you're still having trouble with the magic ring, I also have a separate tutorial link down below as well. And then we are going to single crochet 6 into our magic ring. It's 4, 5, and 6. And then pull your ring shut. We are going to single crochet 1 into the first available stitch, and then we are going to mark this stitch. Then we're increasing in the next stitch. Then single crochet, increase. Last time, single crochet, and then increase. This brings our stitch count up to 9. For round 3, we are going to remove our stitch marker, place your first single crochet of the round, and then as always, mark that stitch. Then place a single crochet in the next stitch as well, and then increase in the third stitch. Single crochet, single crochet, and increase. Single crochet, single crochet, and increase. Then round 4 is the last round of the tail, and it is simply 12 single crochets all the way around. Once you've done that, we can fasten off and then weave in your center piece as well. So again, to fasten off, I'm just going to do a slip stitch. Then I'm going to leave a long tail here for sewing and fasten off. And then don't forget to weave in your center end. The T-Rex spikes are nice and easy, they're just 2 rounds, so start off by making a magic ring. Again, if you need help with this, there's a tutorial link down below, or just rewatch the beginning of the video. And then single crochet 4 into the magic ring. That's 3 and 4. Pull the ring shut. This gets a little tricky because we're working in such a small magic ring, but just go slowly. Then increase in every stitch all the way around. So make your first increase, and then you can mark the first stitch that we did, so it's the second V away from the working loop. And then you are just going to increase in every stitch. So that's going to bring up our stitch count to 8. Now you can fasten off. I'm going to fasten off with a slip stitch. Leave a long tail for sewing, and that is all. And then don't forget to weave in your tail end as well. You're going to make 4 spikes. It is now time to sew everything together, so you should have 2 arms, 1 tail, and 4 spikes. We're going to start off by sewing the arms on, so thread your yarn needle with one of the arms. And I like to put my arms about 1 stitch down from the neck and parallel with the eye here, so like that. To sew on amigurumi, it's really easy. You just poke your needle in one side of the body and then one side out through the arm piece. Pull tight when you sew as well. And just work your way around the circle, making sure that you are stitching every stitch in the arm. Just make sure you pull tight every time you go through as well. So this can be a little tricky, just go slow. And just make sure that you're keeping it centered as well. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to poke my needle down through the body, and I'm just going to weave in my end a little bit to make sure it doesn't come undone. And for the other arm, you're doing the exact same thing, but on the other side. Just make sure it's symmetrical. Now your dino should be looking something like this. We are going to sew the tail on. I'm going to sew it on the back of the T-Rex right in between the arms and about 3 or 4 rounds up from the bottom. So if you're happy with the placement, you kind of just pinch it with your fingers as you're sewing it on. We are going to stuff the tail, but don't stuff it quite yet. We're going to wait until it's mostly sewed on to stuff it. I do apologize, you can't quite see what I'm doing here, but it's the exact same thing as when you sewed the arms on. Now before you close up the tail, just put a little bit of stuffing in there. Not too much, but just enough for it to hold its shape. And then you can finish sewing it up. For the spikes, you're just going to fold them in half so they look like little triangles here, and you're going to start off by sewing it in between the eyes on the top of the head like so. You can place this first spike wherever you'd like, but I like mine to be pretty centered on the head. And you're just going to sew them on exactly how we've been doing. Just make sure that the 4 spikes are evenly spaced apart. So here's our first spike sewed on, and you're going to do the 4 others. I'm just going to show you what a finished one looks like so that you have an idea of where to place them. So they're about 1 stitch apart. And you're going to sew the last spike onto the tail. You're all done, Chris the T-Rex. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to give him a little Santa hat to wear, then just click on the link below.